All right, kids, and that's how I defeated one of the world's most dangerous villains with only my 2 fists. My Desert Eagle and 2 rocket launchers. Eat peace, motherfuckers! Any questions?
Have you met Wonder Woman?
She did spend an entire party IFing me from across the room.
Sick.
Dude, I said effing. Hey! All right!
Peacemaker, I was hesitant to bring you onto this team.
Hey!
But right now, the world needs a son of a bitch. And you're the only one I got.
You know, you don't have to call me Peacemaker. You can call me Chris.
Just because you're handsome doesn't mean you're not a piece of shit.
Think I'm handsome?
Oh my God.
Okay.
This task force doesn't officially exist.
You want to do this?
What's up, guys? Welcome to the stream. Today we are here to celebrate Peacemaker hitting HBO Max on January 13th. I'm gonna pull up the trailer because yesterday HBO Max decided to release a new trailer for Peacemaker. It's a red band trailer. It's pretty awesome. Like there's a lot in it to enjoy, from just action to comedy, and that's the beautiful thing about this series, guys, is that it feels like they are really not holding back with the character of Peacemaker. But I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. It's the New Year's. There's no better way to start the new year than to be right here, just having fun, just celebrating DC's return with Peacemaker coming to HBO Max. So guys, we got the trailer here. Let's pull it up. Okay, hold on, guys. We're going back to just chatting because there seems to be just like no audio with the trailer. But yeah, guys, we're gonna start off the stream just right now talking about Peacemaker. So thank you guys for tuning into the stream. Thank you guys for joining. This series, I'm gonna read the synopsis. It says that there are heroes, there are villains, and then there's Peacemaker, a vainglorious man who believes in peace at any cost, no matter how many people he has to kill to get it. The 8-episode series stars John Cena and is written by James Gunn. And again, it's hitting HBO Max on January 13th. So, guys, I want you guys to let me know in the chat what is your most exciting, I guess, thing you want to see from this series? Because again, this really feels like a series that's going to just go all in on Peacemaker. Guys, I want you guys. Okay, there's audio. Can you guys hear me? I think you guys can hear me. I'm looking at the chat. I think there's audio. No, I think we're good. There's no audio on the trailer, which kind of sucks. But again, guys, the trailer is live. It's out there on YouTube, so make sure to go check it out. You guys can just search up Peacemaker official red band trailer. and it's out there. It's 2 minutes and 50 seconds. It was released yesterday in celebration of the new year. And like I said, guys, there's no better way to celebrate the new year than to be here right here on January 1st talking about Peacemaker. And we have the man, the myth, the legend here with us today. James Gunn is with us, and he's going to be joining us in a little bit for some Q&A. And guys, we are going to, at some point, we are going to be opening up the Q&A session to all of you guys in the chat. So make sure to be active in the chat. Send in your questions for a chance for it to be answered once we get James in here. But yeah, just to talk a little bit about this series, guys. I mean, we met Peacemaker with the Suicide Squad. And I really thought that the Suicide Squad was one of the best movies in 2019. And I think it's one of the best DC movies that DC has ever made. And one of the highlights of that was Peacemaker. And the thing is that going into watching the Suicide Squad, we already knew we were going to get a Peacemaker show. And a lot of us might be unfamiliar with that character, but once we met him in the Suicide Squad and we saw how awesome John Cena was in this role, I was sold. I was so ready for this Peacemaker series once I watched the Suicide Squad, because John Cena, he's a natural, and you can really tell that he just loves playing this character, because everywhere he goes, he is always in that Peacemaker costume. And I just feel like it adds an extra layer to a series, an extra layer to a project. Once you know that the main actor or the person that's bringing these characters to life, they genuinely enjoy what they're doing. But this show isn't only just focusing on Peacemaker, because he has some friends. In the trailer, we've seen that now he's like assembling a team, and there's some familiar faces of characters that are returning from the Suicide Squad, such as Harcourt, Economos, there's Vigilante, there's Eagly. James Gunn is notorious for bringing to life, like, I don't know, just like wholesome side characters. And now Eagly is a part of this. But guys, speaking of the legend himself, we got James Gunn here with us right now. So let's get James in here. James. Okay, guys, we got the man, the myth, the legend. James Gunn is here. James, say what's up to the stream. Yes. Let's do that. Okay, hold up, James, talk. Let's just make sure that they can hear you. Okay. There seems to be an audio issue. Let's try this. Okay, talk.
Talking. And,
yes.
Okay, good.
All right, we're good. We're live. Okay, so James.
Marvels of modern technology.
Yep.
Or maybe I should say the DC of modern technology, since we're the Peacemaker.
Yep. So James, let's talk about Peacemaker. Let's have some fun, man. You're coming right off of the heels of the Suicide Squad, and I thought that was just such a great film. I thought you just did such a great job of bringing to life all of those different characters. But what was it about the character of Peacemaker that, you know, in the Suicide Squad, you brought to life so many different characters, but what was it about Peacemaker that made you say, okay, I want to continue this guy's story?
I mean, I think it was a lot of things. I mean, I think number one, I really got along with John Cena. We became really good friends. He's a funny guy, and I thought it would be fun to continue working with him. I also think that, you know, a lot of the other characters that we dealt with in Suicide Squad, we saw big changes from them. Ratcatcher 2 changed a lot. Bloodsport changed a lot. Polka Dot Man changed a lot. But Peacemaker kind of remained, you know, the unrepentant SOB that he was at the beginning of the movie. And I knew that there was a lot deeper to go with the character. John and I had talked a lot about where the character came from, who he was, who his father was, and all of these things that we didn't really get to see in the movie. So I knew that there was a lot more story there to explore.
Yeah, and then with the new trailer you guys recently released, we got to see glimpses of Peacemaker taking out some enemies, and he had some really brutal kills in the Suicide Squad. So I wanted to ask you, did you guys find a way to, I guess, even get more creative with the way Peacemaker is taking out his enemies in this series and just being more brutal?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, you'll find out some things about, you know, Peacemaker's helmets in the series that you didn't find out about in the Suicide Squad, so that's a big difference. But you'll find out a lot of different things about Peacemaker, what his talents are, what his gifts are, but also the rest of his crew, who are pretty talented. Amelia Harcourt, who is an incredibly talented soldier. Clemson Mern, played by Chukwudi Iwuji, who's a very talented soldier. So we have these other characters who work, sort of our team Peacemaker, who work with him, who are also quite, gifted at what they do.
And speaking of the team, Vigilante, he's here. You brought Vigilante to life. And I wanted to ask you, what inspired you to, I guess, introduce him and involve him with this series? And what can we expect to see within the dynamic of Vigilante and Peacemaker?
Well, Vigilante is a strange character. I mean, I thought, Vigilante basically is a guy who goes out there and murders people he thinks are bad guys. Now, in the comics, maybe you can play that as somebody who's heroic, but in my mind, that's somebody who's pretty psychotic. And that's who our Vigilante is, played by Freddie Stroma. He is quite a head case, but he loves Peacemaker. He thinks Peacemaker is just the greatest guy in the world. Peacemaker can take or leave Vigilante, but Vigilante loves Peacemaker. So their relationship is sort of an older brother, little brother relationship, which is a lot of fun to see in the 8 episodes.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that one bit at the end of the trailer where Vigilante's getting tortured and Peacemaker is just like kind of messing with him. Like it's just so chaotic. And James, that's what I love about you and your art, is that with every single one of the projects you bring to life, it's just so much crazy. It's fun. And I feel like this series is really just exploring Peacemaker in a way where you guys aren't holding back. You guys are going all in on Peacemaker, exploring him as a character, his crew. And did you construct this series with the intention of making more? Or is this like a one and done kind of thing? Or can we expect multiple seasons?
Oh, we're going to have 87 seasons of Peacemaker. We're ready to go. I do think that, the TV format, it brings you a lot of freedom that film doesn't. Film is so short. You have to really keep that plot going from scene to scene. In the Peacemaker show, we were able to take a lot of risks, a lot of chances, explore, dramatic elements that we aren't able to do in a movie, explore comedy in a way that we aren't, and have incredibly long, incredibly, high octane action sequences that take place in every single episode. So it really is, it just is everything that I love, comedy, drama, action, all in one TV series that just doesn't take itself too seriously, but in other ways it takes itself very seriously.
And amongst the characters that are in this show, or the characters that you have brought to life in the past, there's Groot, there's King Shark, but now we have Eagly. So how does Eagly separate himself amongst the other names that I just mentioned?
Well, Eagly, first of all, is an eagle. I mean, even Sebastian the Rat in Suicide Squad, he was a pretty smart rat. And Eagly, eagles are smart, but Eagly is he's just an eagle. He doesn't like anyone but Peacemaker. He is very parental. He takes care of Peacemaker. He brings him dead animals all the time that he thinks Peacemaker wants to eat, which of course he doesn't. But Eagly is just this sort of very loyal bird who loves his owner and nobody else.
And James, with every show, there usually tends to be an episode within a season where it's just like, all right, that's the episode where things really just like get blown wide open and the show really starts to heat up. Is there a particular episode for you that is your personal favorite? And should fans look out for a particular episode?
Well, I really do love all the episodes. I directed 5 of the 8 episodes, and then there were 3 other directors, and I love every single one. I have a particular fondness in my heart for episode 6, which I think takes everything in a different direction and explores stuff in a way that I never have before. Episode 8 is also amazing because I got a chance to do some things that that I've never been able to do. And it's the biggest episode in the series. But there's all that. I love 1, I love 3, I love Jody Hill's episode 4. So there's really great episodes throughout the whole thing. But 6, I think, holds a special place in my heart.
So 6 is the one we'll be looking out for. I mean, I'm excited for the entire series, but now it's glad to know that going into the series that 6 is it's your favorite.
Yeah.
But James, any one of your productions, I feel like it's always going to be a ton of fun behind the scenes. So do you have any like fun behind the scenes story of the making of this series? Because it looks like you guys just had a blast, truly.
I mean, we did have fun because we loved making the show. This show came, I wrote this entire show in 2 months. It came at a time when we were in the just very height of the beginnings of COVID, when it was very scary. I was trapped at home alone. I had nothing to do. So I'm like, I'm going to write a TV show. So I wrote 8 episodes in 2 months. Thank goodness HBO Max wanted to do it. And then we started filming very shortly thereafter that. So it was just really, for me, a blessing that I was able to do something so creative and really take a risk with something at a time when I needed it personally. And I think that all of us involved needed it. Jen Holland, who plays Amelia Harcourt, she needed it. Steve Agee, who's my good friend, he needed it. He was stuck out in Palm Desert all by himself. So all these people, I think, came together and just we created something. It really was like kids putting on a show, and every day was funny. But if you ask me, the best part was that Danielle Brooks cannot keep a straight face, and she constantly ruining takes by laughing all the time. So we'll have some of that fun behind the scenes. I know Steve Agee has some good behind the scenes video of Danielle cracking up that I'll post after the first episode airs on January 14th.
I can't wait to check it out. Now, James, tell the fans that are watching this live stream right now, why should they be excited for Peacemaker hitting HBO Max on January 13th?
Because I think that Peacemaker is everything that people hope it's going to be and more. I've been making, movies and writing books and doing all sorts of things for now, I guess, almost, over 25 years. And I have never, ever been more excited to share something with the world than I am with Peacemaker. I think we created something extraordinarily special, something that is both insane, but also incredibly heartfelt and incredibly beautiful. I think it's a story about people today and our differences in this world, and how different we all are, and how, despite that, maybe there's some common ground in a place that we can get along. And so I can't wait. I can't wait for people to see it. It's might be my favorite thing I've ever done in my life.
I love to hear that, James. Now, we're going to open it up to the rest of the people watching this live stream, and we're going to be taking some questions from the chat. So at this point in time, guys, start sending in any questions you guys have in regards to Peacemaker, and we'll get James to answer a couple of them before he heads out. But James, I wanted to thank you just for taking the time.
Sure thing, man.
Joining us.
Of course.
Let's see what we got here. So someone asked, did you take any inspiration from Kick-Ass when it comes to the gore and violence of this series? Because Kick-Ass was one of those first comic book movies that really...
Well, I mean, I think you have to remember I made Super, the movie, at the same time Kick-Ass was made. And in fact, the script for Super was written before Kick-Ass the comic was ever written. And Matt Miller and I talked about that back then. So I think this is more in a little bit... This has some similarities to my movie Super, but I would not say Kick-Ass so much.
Gotcha. Someone said, because Peacemaker takes place in the larger DC universe, is there a possibility of us seeing already established DC heroes or villains in this series?
Yes.
Next. Okay, remember guys, make sure to send in those questions regarding Peacemaker and we'll get them answered. Let's see. So, James, a ton of people seem to be asking about you, I guess, exploring other characters that you've brought to life within the Suicide Squad. So, amongst that roster of characters that were in that film, what other character, I guess, speaks to you in order to explore it with it, whether it's in another solo project?
There's a lot of them I really love. I really love Amanda Wall. I mean, I really love all those characters. I mean, I love everybody from Amanda Waller to the Weasel to Bloodsport to Ratcatcher 2 to Polka Dot Man. And, but I do think that there are a couple that lend themselves to other projects outside of the Suicide Squad a little bit more. And so we may be talking about some of those things right now, or there may be some things that are in the early stages of development within that universe. And so if I say too much, then I'd be giving away the whole thing. But definitely we're interested in doing some things with some of those other characters.
I love that so much. And, you know, going into Suicide Squad, man, like you brought to life some of the craziest characters that a lot of them I wasn't familiar with. But after watching the movie, I never thought I would end the movie saying like, I want a Ratcatcher project.
Yeah.
I want a Bloodsport project. I want a project for all of these different characters because they're so awesome. And that's what's exciting about Peacemaker is that, again, not only are we exploring Peacemaker within this series, but you're also bringing to life other characters. Vigilante, again, exploring his team. Eagly.
Right. Judo Master, you know, and of course, Amelia Harcourt and John Economos, who were in Suicide Squad. We get to see so much more of them and other characters that are new, like Adebayo, who's Danielle Brooks' character, which many people know her from Orange is the New Black. Yeah, I mean, I think I love all of these characters, and I think that people are going to really start to love each of them in a way that is similar to the way that people love the Suicide Squad characters or the Guardians of the Galaxy.
So with that being said, James, thank you so much for taking the time to
Matt.
join us for today.
Thank you, man.
And
Okay,
I look forward to checking out Peacemaker January 13th. Thank you, brother.
hey, man. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. So guys, shout out James Gunn. Shout out James Gunn. Such a light man, and just such a master at what he does. Again, for him to say that this might be the favorite thing he's ever made in his life, guys, that just speaks volumes of how hyped we should be for Peacemaker. It just speaks volumes on how hyped we should be for Peacemaker. So, guys, again, now with just everything we talked about, let me know in the chat, like, how are you guys feeling? How are you guys feeling? James is off working on Guardians 3, yes, but right now we're just focused on Peacemaker. And again, I want to thank HBO Max for sponsoring this live stream and helping us bring this to life, because this is a dream come true for a lot of us, guys, for us to just be able to come on here and chat with someone like James Gunn and just hype us up and get us excited for Peacemaker, because this is just one of the best ways to start off the year, right? Like, Peacemaker is right around the corner, January 13th. So it's gonna be something special, man. Again, for James to say that this might be the favorite thing he's ever made in his life, considering his resume and all of the projects he's made, it speaks volumes on what's in store. And I feel like, again, there's so many just surprises that they're holding back within the series. And again, key points. We got to look out for episode 6, because that's James' favorite episode. And episode 8 is the biggest episode. So let me know in the chat, what about this Peacemaker show excites you the most? Because truthfully, again, just to see James, John Cena, and all of the people that are around this project and are just so passionate about bringing this to life, bringing to life the story, these characters, it adds an extra layer of excitement to these projects when the people that are making them are just extremely passionate about it. And like James said, there's just so much room for story for the other characters amongst this in the Suicide Squad, and they certainly intend to continue to make and expand more on this corner of the DC universe with Peacemaker, with, you know, the other characters as well. And you know, when I asked James about us potentially seeing cameos of other characters, other familiar characters within the DC universe, he said that there's a possibility we see some, you know, there's a possibility that we see some in this series. Who knows? So this trailer opened up, this newest trailer that they released, guys, it opened up with Peacemaker referencing Wonder Woman. So it's very much within the interconnected DC universe. But I'm looking at the chat now. You guys seemed hype. I'm loving the energy in the chat. I'm loving the energy in the chat. And everything we've seen so far has just been, it's honestly so exciting, because again, I feel like with the trailers that they've put out just enough to like get us super hyped for it. But at the same time, like there's still so much we don't know about this series, right? Like we don't really know who's the main villain. We don't know, I guess, the intricacies of the plot and where the story is heading. We just know this series is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be wild, but that's something we can expect with a James Gunn project. So let me know. We are going to be doing watch parties for this series. Yes, guys, we are going to be doing watch parties for every single episode. The series premieres on HBO Max January 13th, and it premieres with the first 3 episodes. So yeah, 3 episodes. They're all pretty significant in terms of length. And it's gonna be special, man. I love that we're getting so much on January 13th. Like, we're not just getting 1 episode. We're not just getting 2 episodes. Nah, we're getting 3 episodes. And James actually revealed on Twitter today that every single episode has a post-credit scene. So, guys, every single episode has a post-credit scene. So they're just keeping those treats in us with every episode, not just like the last one or the last 2. Nah, every single episode has a post-credit scene, and from the action to the comedy, this is just, it's really not holding back. It's not holding back at all. So I'm excited, man. I can't wait to check this out on the 13th. I can't wait to experience the show with you guys, because again, we are going to be doing watch parties for every single episode as it continues to be released on HBO Max. And yeah, send in any questions you guys have in regards to this series, and I'll answer them. Let's talk about this show. Someone said, I want to see more Weasel. Weasel was such an awesome character in the Suicide Squad for like the little amount of screen time that he had. What other characters do you think will be in this show? That's a tough one. I mean, I feel like they could, like, again, because this series is just, it looks so crazy and out of the norm, and I guess just unexpected. I feel like anyone can show up, really. I would love to see some characters from the Suicide Squad appear in this series. And maybe just, I guess, building more on that story of like the squad finding out that Peacemaker is still alive, because a lot of them thought he was dead by the end of the Suicide Squad. So I would love to see, again, more of Ratcatcher. I would love to see some Idris Elba, Bloodsport. How do you guys feel about Bloodsport? I would love to see more of him as Bloodsport. I would love to see King Shark, Harley as well. You can never go wrong with Harley. Like, there's always... No, there's never enough of Harley, you know, because Margot Robbie is just, again, so great in that role, and that's the thing, is that the actors that have played the characters in the Suicide Squad, they are all just so not only are they talented, but they're just so, it's so natural for them. Like John Cena, when I saw John Cena as Peacemaker, he just looked so comfortable in that role, portraying this character who's just crazy. He's kind of a maniac, but he's also really funny, and he makes for just a really entertaining character. And now that he's leading his own series, make no mistake, guys, it's gonna be a wild ride. It's gonna be a wild ride. Let's see what else you guys are saying in the chat. You guys, there's a lot of Harley fans in the chat. But yes, guys, we are going to do watch parties for Peacemaker. Is Eclipso and Peacemaker? Who knows, guys? Who knows? I am in as much as in the dark as you guys are, but we'll all find out January 13th when Peacemaker premieres on HBO Max. With that being said, the hype is real. Shout out to James Gunn. Shout out to HBO Max for sponsoring this stream. And thank you guys for tuning in and showing all that love and energy for Peacemaker. I'll catch you guys January 13th, where we're going to celebrate the release of the show, continue to watch more of the episodes, break it down, and just, again, begin the journey of getting to the end of the series. Because with projects like this, it's always an experience from starting it from the first episode to getting to the end. And make no mistake, Peacemaker is going to be one wild ride. again, the action, the comedy, the characters from Peacemaker to Vigilante to Economos to Eagly to all of these different characters. This show is going to be crazy, and expect the unexpected. With that being said, thank you guys for tuning into this live stream. I appreciate you guys so much. And again, make sure to check out Peacemaker on HBO Max.